Hey everyone, welcome back. Our next guest joined us today to speak about the upcoming Fordham in Community Consortium, a summit that brings together community-based and grassroots organizations with initiatives to share resources and collaborate in an impactful way to uplift neighboring communities and contribute to their development. And joining us to share more is the Center for Community Engaged Learning at Fordham University Executive Director, Julie Gafney, and inaugural CEO of Bronx Community Foundation and former New York City Schools Chancellor, Dr. Meisha Porter. Hello and welcome, ladies.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Thank you for being here with us. Thank you for this amazing summit that I'm looking forward to participating in. And if we could just start with you, Julie. Just explain to us, what it is that the goal is in having this all-day summit. It's a long summit, right? It starts at, I believe, at 10:30 in the morning and goes to about 5:30. That's a long period of time to bring people together. So can you give us a little insight as to what formed this?
Absolutely. So next Friday, May 6th, the Center for Community Engaged Learning at Fordham will convene local partners, community stakeholders, faculty, and students for this summit. It's really a day of information sharing, advocacy, and outreach to bring us together over at the Bronx Zoo, one of our partners. As we come out of these periods of isolation and uncertainty, we are so looking forward to seeing our partners and friends and to talking together about the most pressing issues and the promising solutions that are being crafted here in the Bronx in collaboration with one another. This event does fall within the celebration of Bronx Week 2022, so we're really eager to create meaningful change for the Fordham area and the whole borough of the Bronx.
Thank you. And so what I did mention is Dr. Meisha Porter is also going to be the keynote speaker. But before we talk about your keynote and your participation, let's just share a little bit about the Bronx Community Foundation and why you decided to shift from being the first female Black chancellor for New York City schools into now being this inaugural president and CEO of the Bronx Community Foundation.
So one, it's exciting to be back home in the borough of the Bronx. This is actually a great kickoff event because the Bronx Community Foundation is looking to also be a convener around issues that are important to Bronxites and to work together to develop solutions to problems with the people who are impacted by those most. And so I'm excited to be the keynote speaker at this event. I'm excited to return to the Bronx. I'm excited to do this at Fordham University, where I just completed my dissertation. And so, this is to me a moment when and I think people are just excited to come together. So it's a long day, but it's a long day of probably, Bronx style coming together, of just missing each other and reconnecting. And so I'm excited about that. But this moment of reconnecting and convening around addressing issues of importance to the Bronx is what's important to the foundation. It is, how do Bronxites rebuild our communities with us, by us, for us, at the forefront of what's important, deciding how to solve problems, deciding the path forward for the borough, working in collaboration with our borough president and our elected officials and our universities and Fordham as a partner. And I'm excited to see Fordham think about their role in the borough in such an important way. And that's why I'm excited to participate in the forum. And I think it's just just a natural fit as I start in this inaugural role, for sure.
Yes, I'm excited to hear you speak too. So I'm really excited that you're excited. And so, Julie, I read a quote from you in an article. I believe it was in a Fordham University article. It was a very fascinating statement that I would like you to elaborate on. And it is about how to construct a new society after the destruction of an urban society. And how now, in these moments of flux that we don't wish for, that this is when we can reevaluate what is possible, which is what's being created with this consortium. So can you elaborate on that further?
Absolutely. Yeah, this is, I often get the question, how did a medievalist get involved in community organizing, public policy? And it really is, and it's not particular to any one time period, but what fascinated me, what I did my coursework on, and now I actually teach a course on this, on post-pandemic narratives and the kinds of social, political, and economic structures that come out of moments like these, moments of devastation, of loss, of uncertainty. And I do find that there's something, I don't want to say comforting, but really important that this is not the first moment in history that we have seen this kind of rebuilding, this necessary rebuilding, right? We have seen in the late 14th century a huge outpouring of opportunities for entrepreneurship, a change in the way language works and constructs meaning. And I think we are on the cusp of this same moment, and what better place to be doing this work than the Bronx? That is why at this summit, we'll be launching Fordham in Community, or Fordham en Comunidad, which is an asset-based consortium between the university and local partners, really to collaborate on community projects and initiatives. So our partners include the Fordham BID, the Bronx Zoo and Wildlife Conservancy, Youth Ministries for Peace and Justice, Part of the Solution, BronxNet, of course, the Botanical Gardens, VIP Community Services, over 25 other CBOs, nonprofits, and organizing and advocacy groups. And we're really working to highlight assets and resources and solutions, what we have to share, and where we can find those moments of collaboration and growth.
Yeah, I noticed, I was looking at some of the graphs and seeing like where the points of interest lie. And one of the things that also came up for me, for you, Dr. Porter, is that your main priority stepping into this role is to listen.
Yes.
It's to listen. And so you're our keynote speaker. So I'm very curious to see where that balance is.
Well, I hope in my message I deliver, I'm looking forward to delivering a message of what we want to listen for. The amazing thing about the foundation that was started by brothers Derek and Desmond Lewis, who are from the Bronx. It's the first and only community foundation in the Bronx solely dedicated to delivering resources to the borough through a participatory grant-making process, period, right? And so the listening is going to be around what do our neighbors, what do our friends, what do our community members, what do our nonprofits, what do our small businesses, what do our for-profits, what do we all want to see a foundation do for this borough? And what are the issues that the foundation can help solve and fund solving? And I think, listening for that as a starting point, there are a lot of amazing nonprofits across the borough doing really great work. But this is a moment, to Julie's point, post-pandemic, of rethinking the way we work, working in a more deeply collaborative way, partnering around solutions to problems, but also recognizing the beauty of the borough, the resiliency of the people, the diversity of cultures and communities, and how all of those really important parts of who we are as a borough play into us defining our future forward.
And so thank you for that. Julie, I started mentioning the graphs, and I was trying to find them to just elaborate a little further on the points of interest, because I know you did like surveys. And so are these topics going to be addressed throughout the consortium? Are these the topics of choice?
So the topics we'll be highlighting at the summit are environmental justice, education access, economic development, and migration justice. These are some of the top, they're not the only, but these are some of the top issues, and also areas where this consortium has, I think, a lot of potential for collaboration right now. We may add priorities as we grow and scale. And we may, there's a lot that falls under those areas. And I think they all talk to each other, which I think is really exciting. When we think about migration justice, we have to be thinking about environmental justice, because we're thinking about displacement and movement. So that's where we're beginning the conversation.
And so who's able to attend? Is anybody able to just show up, or is there a registration? Like, what does that look like?
Absolutely. This event is open to the public, and we are really hoping to get a great group of folks joining us, both from these partner organizations, from Fordham, but anybody who is listening and who'd like to join and come and take part in these conversations, we really would welcome you. There is an RSVP process you can find on our website. It's fordham.edu/CCEL for the Center for Community Engaged Learning. So if you go there, it's on our homepage. You can just click to register, and then you'll get the full day of events, your transportation information, everything you might need.
All right, and before we go, I just want to ask Dr. Porter if the way she's designing, is it geared towards a certain age group? Because I mean, you were the New York City school chancellor,
Yes.
and I would assume that that kind of made its way into your design. Is there an age range in which you're targeting?
Well, obviously, education is deeply important to me. And again, to Julie's point, right? Like the one doesn't operate without the other. There's not an age range. We want to support the entire borough. We want to support our birth through seniors and really build up the community and support, just pushing forward and funding and developing initiatives that just build a better, more amazing Bronx than the one we have today.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. We are the rising phoenix till the
Yes.
full
Yeah.
effect. All right, and thank you so much for bringing it to our viewers, ladies. Once again, that's Julie Gafney, Executive Director of Fordham University at the Center for Community Engaged Learning, along with Dr. Meisha Porter, CEO of Bronx Community Foundation and former New York City Schools Chancellor. And if you're interested in participating, once again, you can visit fordhaminCommunity.org. This is happening on May 6th between 11:30 a.m. and 5:30 p.m. All right, we have to take a quick break, but when we return, we'll hear about the gathering of local elected officials and community leaders to discuss the youth mental health crisis in public schools. So don't go anywhere.